Hello and welcome to the channel. I am here for an album review for you guys. Now, I know it's been a while since I've done an actual album review on this channel, but I don't know, I've just been really in the mood to talk about these guys because I've been listening to these guys quite often, and I think these guys are actually really underrated. Definitely one of the most underrated bands that I'm aware of. And the band is, of course, Fates Warning, and the album I'm going to be reviewing is Parallels. And this is probably my favorite Fates Warning album, which I know is maybe an unpopular opinion because because this album is more on the commercial side of Fates Warning's career opposed to the stuff that they've released before. And I don't know, I just really dig this album. This is just the album that has the most songs that I go back to the most from these guys, and I have very little complaints with this album. I think it's just a really great album. Just right off the bat, I have to say it's a great album, and it's of course a classic. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of these tracks. Now, if you're new here, I usually don't go over every single song, but I usually just talk about the highlights, the songs that stand out to me at least, and of course all this and that. But yeah, let's go ahead and begin. Of course, you got to mention the opening track. The opening track, Leave the Past Behind, it's easily one of my favorites off this album. It's kind of different for an opening track. Like, this is not really something that you would normally expect from a progressive metal band. Usually most metal bands, not just in progressive metal, but most progressive metal bands do like to start off their albums with something that's a little more chaotic, something that's a little more fast-paced, but this song is the complete opposite. This song is actually one of the most melodic songs on the album, I think. I just really like the flow of this song. Ray's vocal delivery, I mean, it's really intriguing, and same could be said about the next song, track 2, Life in Stillwater. Now, I think the biggest highlight for me with this song is its intriguing melodies and the riffs and just the overall instrumentation. It's very well made, and of course, skipping some tracks ahead, we got Point of View, which is, I believe, one of the biggest songs on the album, and for good reason. It's just a great progressive metal song that I think you should check out for sure, and it's maybe one of my favorites. I don't know. It's maybe up there. Another highlight for me off this album would have to be We Only Say Goodbye. I've always loved this song ever since I first listened to this album, mainly just due to its intriguing melodies and the haunting feel that you get with it, especially in the beginning parts of this track. It has these guitar notes that are like really haunting sounding and very dark. And the rest of the song is pretty dark in that aspect too, and I think it went off really well. I mean, it's really intriguing, and it's just a fun song to listen to overall. Everything from the riffs to the vocals, I think the whole band does a really good job with that track. And then, of course, I want to skip to the closing track, The Road That Goes On Forever. This is another one of the most melodic songs on the album. Very similar to Leave the Past Behind. I think that's what they were going for. They were trying to make the beginning have some sort of correlation with the closing track. The beginning and the ending track, of course. But yeah, The Road That Goes On Forever, it's just a really great song, and maybe one of my favorites as well. And it is a great way to close off the album. It has this sort of dark vibe to it, but it's also kind of uplifting in a way, especially within its riffs. Like, it has this like hopeful, like light at the end of the tunnel kind of feel as far as the instrumentation and just the overall vibe of the song. And because of that, I think it's a really good way to close off the album. It really wraps things up really well. Like I said, the reason that this is my favorite Fates Warning album, at least as of now, is because this album does have the songs that I do go back to the most from this band. Songs like Leave the Past Behind, Point of View, We Only Say Goodbye, and The Road That Goes On Forever. Yeah, definitely a lot of great songs on this album. I would highly recommend you check out this album if you are into any progressive metal. I mean, Fates Warning is, of course, one of the pioneers of progressive metal, so of course, definitely check it out if you call yourself a fan of progressive metal, because, well, without, Fates Warning, maybe we wouldn't have progressive metal as we know it today. And of course, I would like to recommend this if you are a fan of bands like Queensryche, another great progressive metal band, and also to fans of Iron Maiden. I think would really enjoy this. And even if you're someone who's not really into metal, but you like classic rock and, hard rock and stuff like that, I think this album is maybe enjoyable for those people because it is a very rock friendly album. Like I said, it is more on the mainstream side, but that's not a bad thing. It's, of course, a great album. So, overall, Parallels by Fates Warning, really great album. If I had to give it a score, I'd have to give it a 9 out of 10. It's that good of an album, so yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you heard this album yet? If so, what do you think of it? And if you haven't heard it yet, I highly recommend you check it out. Well, there you go, guys. Like I said, I know it's been a while since I've done like a classic album review on this channel, but figured why not? But yeah, with that being said, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day and take care.